Lowell, Indiana, small town in Lake County, about 50 miles from Chicago, was originally called Outlet, being so close to the outlet of Cedar Lake. Right here, Cedar Creek is a big part of the founding of Lowell. Here is where Melvin Halstead and friends dammed the creek, creating a mill pond. Halstead wasn't the first pioneer here, but when he came here and purchased this property in 1848, he dreamt of making it a premier mill town. With the help of an 1893 fire insurance map from the Library of Congress and some old photos, let's check out the then and now of Lowell. Starting at about the old dam site, over here Halstead built a woolen mill in 1868. Being 3 stories high, it was then the largest building in the county. It didn't last long as a woolen mill. Later, it was used as a grist mill. If you are wondering, yes, it was bitter cold out when I filmed this. And now I wonder if I just jaywalked in front of the police. We are walking up Main Street. Up ahead is Melvin Halstead's house. The brick house was built from bricks he had made from the clay near the creek. It was built in 1849, finished, and he moved in it in 1850. It was the first brick house in the county. From the front of his house, you can just picture the old mill. The tree line is the creek. Later, in 1880, the railroad line also runs alongside it. Halstead had planned on Main Street being the business district when he platted the town, naming it Lowell in 1852. The first business here was across the street. A man named Thorne built a small frame hotel and general store here. Up ahead, on the corner of Main and Mill Streets, is an old brick church, originally the site of one of the first log cabins in the area. In 1837, Jabez Clark arrived here with his wife and 2 small children. They found an abandoned cabin right here, and he moved his family in, living there about a year. Their only neighbors were friendly Potawatomi Indians that camped on the other side of the creek, and the Nichols brothers that also lived a bit farther on the other side of the creek. In 1857, Melvin Halstead built this brick Baptist church here. Later in 1907, it was replaced by this Presbyterian church. It is now someone's home. Pretty cool. If the name Halstead sounds familiar to you, as it did me, yes, the Halsteads that the infamous Halstead Street in Chicago was named after, and Lowell's founder, Melvin Halstead, were distant cousins. After continuing another block on Main, we turn the corner onto Clark Street. 2 blocks ahead is the old downtown. Halstead didn't get his wish of turning Main into the thriving business district. The county decided to run their road, now called Commercial, through what is now downtown. Once word was out, everyone started building their businesses there. It is now a state road, Route 2. This picture of the same view up Clark Street is from about 1910. This church is where a theater once stood. It was built right before the previous photo. Moving 1 more block east to Fremont, we are coming up on Commercial. The house on the right is the Bacon House. Dr. Bacon built the mansion and lived there. Here we have the old Carnegie Library building. If not mistaken, Indiana has more Carnegie libraries than any other state. The brick apartment buildings were built before 1881 by Dr. Alfred Garish as his home and medical office. This park, with a 1907 Veterans Monument, was the Old Town Square. The land was donated to the town by pioneer Jabez Clark. Showing on the map, Dr. Bacon's mansion. Next to it, 2 blocks of downtown were totally destroyed by a fire, October 1898. The water standpipe, in the town square, was just about to be put in. The fire is thought to have been an act of arson. Miraculously, the 2 blocks were rebuilt with new brick buildings in 1899. I just love these old brick buildings. Here we see Clark Street again, looking north. The Death building once held the Grant Brothers store and a drugstore on the corner. This picture, taken in front of Grant Brothers, is from 1899, shortly after the new store was opened. The south side of Commercial has many business buildings, ranging from the oldest dated 1891 to somewhat newer buildings that replace the first old frame-built businesses over time. It wouldn't be a history tour without a walk up the hill, onto the other side of the creek and railroad tracks. Up the hill, we have probably some of the oldest frame buildings still in town. The first one, I don't know about. Just wondering if it could be this. If someone knows, please post it in the comments. To the right, this was called the Red Front. And here we have the Union House. The back was used as a schoolhouse for a couple years in the 1860s. Then, as the building was expanded, it later was a hotel. Thank you so much for coming on this walkabout with me. I leave you with what used to be Liberty Park. A new and improved park is in the works. This location is probably where the Potawatomi natives camped before the pioneers built up this town. Thanks again.